everybody. My name is Nick Bayda, and today I'm going to present my unit plan entitled Generative Art in P5JS. Now, for these lessons, I'm going to be teaching these to my STEM club over at Maple Heights High School, where we have about 15 students. We meet after school once a week for about an hour, and we do have grades 9 through 12 in our club, so we do have a variety of skill levels, but it's a really good group and a lot of intrinsic motivation when it comes to learning about different STEM concepts as well. So throughout the year, in my STEM club, we'll be introducing different computer science topics, as this will kind of be the second computer science unit in the year. As in the first unit, students will have learned what computer science is and some basics in P5JS. And this unit will be broken down into 4 different lessons. So in the first lesson, students will learn all about algorithmic thinking. The second one, they'll learn their coding skills, and then 3 and 4 will be about their project as well. In the first lesson, the main objectives are I want students to be able to write a set of instructions that can be followed by somebody else to create a work of art. And in this lesson, we'll kind of start out. I have this slideshow that will be posted. We have Google Classroom over at Maple, so students will be able to access all these materials via Google Classroom. But students will search the internet for different generative art, create new slides, and post it here. We'll talk about it a little bit. After that, we'll go into another presentation that will kind of more formally define generative art and kind of break down how algorithmic thinking is a part of that as well. And then students will have their prompts where they write out rules for constructing a piece of art, and they will have another student follow their rules, and at the end they can reflect with this form as well. So that will be the first lesson here. Lesson 2 will be all about teaching students how to use the for loops and conditional statements in P5JS. So those are the big I can statements, just knowing how to use a for loop and a conditional statement. Students will first be presented in this lesson some slides that kind of break down the different components of these. They have links to P5 reference as well. And then as a class, this we'll pull up this code together and we'll kind of work through how we can incorporate a for loop and conditional statement here. And then there's also one way you could solve it as well. So we'll do that first, and then after that, students will have 2 coding challenges, one for their for loops and one for their conditional statements as well. And each of these has their own different rubrics that students will evaluate themselves, and we'll sit down and go over them together after students complete them as well. Finally, in lessons 3 and 4, students will have a lot of work time during these lessons, but the main goal is I want students to kind of put the first 2 lessons together and apply computational thinking to create a P5JS sketch that reflects something meaningful in their life. So to do that, students will be given the assignment guidelines here, which breaks down all the different components. We'll go over the rubric first before we look at any examples. And then we'll go over, here is one example, completed example, that kind of just shows what you could do. This is kind of a more simple example that students could do as well. But with my class, we'll kind of break down the code, go through all the comments, talk about what was done here to meet the project requirements as well. There'll also be some tutorials posted to YouTube as well to help students. And that will be the 3rd week. At the end, I'll give students some feedback about what they can focus on for next week as well. And then finally, in lesson 4, will be very similar to lesson 3. We'll just go over a more difficult example shown here that students could do as well. And then at the end, students will evaluate, and I will evaluate them as well. We will conference with each other to kind of give feedback, and that will be it for the unit. Thank you.